It's that time already. Senate confirmation hearings start this week, shaping the White House for the next 4 years. Tomorrow, the one and only hearing is Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. It starts at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. The Army National Guard veteran likely to steal the headlines after months of accusations from Democrats.
And today, Axios reporting that Chucky Schmucky Schumer, has been carefully plotting for an explosive hearing, and he's not hiding it.
Is someone with Pete Hegseth's alleged history really the kind of person we want at the helm in a very, very important situation, dangerous situation like that? Is that really in the best interests of American safety? That's something senators should ask themselves during tomorrow's hearing. And of course, they should ask Mr. Hegseth questions about it.
It seems like delay is the word of the day. Tomorrow was supposed to feature President Trump's pick for Veterans Affairs Secretary, Doug Collins, but he's just been delayed until next week. The committee blaming the FBI for failing to complete the background check on time.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop there. Interior Secretary, think about the wildfires in California. That nominee, Doug Burgum, also delayed by 2 days. And the Energy and Natural Resources Chairman blaming the slow-moving swamp, saying, quote, despite his compliance and the committee's notice, OGE hasn't completed its review. This bureaucratic delay is unacceptable.
Last but not least, Director of National Intelligence picked Tulsi Gabbard, being repeatedly stonewalled. Democrats now insisting that all the paperwork hasn't been filled out. Dems are turning this into a full-blown showdown, throwing punches that block the agenda that Americans voted for.
And joining us now to react, former NRSC Executive Director Rob Collins and Maslanky Partners President Lee Carter. So let's go to you first, Rob. You've been down this road with so many of these campaigns and what happens afterwards. This delay, what do you think plays out?
Well, I think what you're saying is a delay, deny, just like you prefaced how they handle the California wildfires blame. They want to slow down the Trump agenda. Trump got elected, and he has been the most aggressive advocate getting his administration nominated and having all the pre-meetings, getting all the paperwork done. They've done more than any other administration to get their nominees ready to go. So the Democrats' last stall tactic, as it were, is to use procedural and bureaucratic red tape to try to slow things down, because they're afraid of what the Trump agenda might accomplish, and they have to appease their liberal Democratic base and give them some carrots by saying, I delayed Pete Hegseth a day, I guess is important. What the American people have said in the latest Morning Consult poll is, we want this government to work, we support Donald Trump, his approvals have gone up, and they're ready for business as usual despite this Democratic opposition.
Lee, will the Democrats invariably embarrass themselves? Because reading the military evaluations that FoxNews.com published for Pete Hegseth when he was in service, here's just a little snippet when he was serving in Iraq, Assistant Civil Military Operations Officer for the Air Assault Infantry Battalion. He's an absolutely outstanding officer who is intelligent, mature, and extremely gifted. I could go on, but I won't. But that's who they're going to try to lambast.
Yeah, I think the Democrats' whole strategy here is going to backfire. I think the American people have said they're tired of obstructionism. They say that they want the government to work together for the American people. If you look at how people view the brand of the Democratic Party, they basically are saying they're out for themselves, they're out for the elite, they're not out to work for the American people, and this is just further evidence of that. If we get into next week and we don't have an answer on Trump's cabinet, it's absolutely unacceptable. California is literally on fire. The whole country has issues that are in front of us. We've got national security issues, all kinds of things where the American people want action right away, and they have a right to have a cabinet that goes into place right away. These kind of stall tactics are going to do nothing but backfire. And look at this Democratic leadership that's limping out of office as somebody who's just really not fighting for the American people and putting their own interests first.
right? We want Americans to suffer, whether they're in California or whether they're in service overseas. That's the message. But on to this. As big tech rallies behind free speech and rejects diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, the CEO of Fortnite developer Epic Games posted on X saying this, quote, "After years of pretending to be Democrats, big tech leaders are now pretending to be Republicans in hopes of currying favor with the new administration. Beware of the scummy monopoly campaign to vilify competition law as they rip off consumers and crush competitors." Now, Tim Sweeney, Rob, is talking specifically about kind of the stranglehold that Apple has on the App Store. That's been the beef for Sweeney and Epic Games. But bigger picture, I think the shocker to a lot of people is these tech CEOs are capitalists. They're not socialist, but it is a genius way of them kind of keeping all their employees in line who have been kind of the patients running the insane asylum for so many years.
Yeah, I think the jury's out. I mean, I'm a Catholic, and a big part of our religion is redemption. And if they want to come back, if they want to represent their shareholders and worry about profits and talking to half of America, which they haven't done for the last 16 years, I say give them a shot. And I think the CEO of Fortnite is trying to work out maybe his business problems he's got through comments on Twitter. But hey, anyone who wants to help advance the Trump agenda is a friend of ours until they aren't, and that's how we should treat them.
You know, that's kind of the pragmatism, Lee, and we saw a lot of this in the campaign. Do you think the change in voting blocks that have shifted, the younger people especially are giving these tech CEOs some second thoughts, or are they really just coming to the table for self-preservation?
I think there's been a big shift in attitude. I think what we've seen that the far left has failed so many people, and the left has really failed so many people. They've gone anti-capitalist. They've gone too far. I know many people who voted for Biden who said things just got too liberal. In fact, they want capitalism back, they want freedoms back, and they voted for Donald Trump this time. So I'm not sure that they're just operating in their own interest as much as they're operating in America's interest and saying what's best for this country is a free market in a capitalist country. That's what we're all about, and there's no place for us anywhere else. And so I'm skeptical, of course. All Americans seem to be skeptical these days, but at the same time, I think that their eyes have been opened to say that we had a big problem in the way things were going. We reacted too strongly. We let as Dagan said, the inmates were running the asylum, and now we've got to take it back, and we've got to get this back to a country that works for all of us.
I think we better keep a close eye on the asylum, Dagan. Yep. Thank you, Rob Collins and Lee Carter.
I still think Zuckerberg's full of pig potatoes.
I'm not buying it either.
Thank you both.